That didn't. Yeah, you didn't sound like a confident doctor.
Like,
yeah, he definitely got his PhD from like some like South American country or whatever
really a doctor?
over the online.
I'm a doctor, bro.
Welcome to the Fantasy Underdogs Podcast with your host, Dr. Ike and BJ.
Fantasy Underdogs here. We are talking about potential values this year. Guys that you're not taking in the first, second round necessarily, but guys that, you know, are going to be values that you take later on in your draft. Ridge, who is the first guy that you value in this range?
First guy on my list would be Devonta Freeman from the Atlanta Falcons.
He's a running back.
Latest reports are that he should be ready for training camp.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's always a good thing. The guy is constantly injured, which is a big concern of mine. But there's no more Tevin Coleman. You know, so there's no competition. He has Ito Smith.
You got Ito Smith. He's solid, but he's not going to threaten his time.
No, I mean, no, I don't think so. I mean, like I said, he's gonna be the workhorse again. They're gonna rely on him, and that offense, I believe, is gonna be one of the top units in the NFL this year. He does return as a goal line back, so that's always a positive. Touchdowns typically win you championships. Between years 2015 to 2017, he had 29 rushing touchdowns and 6 passing touchdowns, which is pretty legit. He's previously been RB1s for those seasons.
He's shown before, but I think the biggest thing that you got to look at with a running back is the situation. I think this is the best situation that a running back in Atlanta has ever had, because there was always 2 running backs, it felt like, where they were vulturing from each other. Tevin Coleman is gone. And I think just having Dirk Cutter as the offensive coordinator, I think that helps the running game even more. And they've got a lot of continuity in the sense that they brought a lot of guys back, and they improved the offensive line, which is the biggest thing of all. And on top of that, you got 2 wide receivers, 2 of the I really like Calvin Ridley this year. I think he could take a huge step forward. And having Julio Jones, there's going to be no one in the box. You're going to have an improved offensive line. Matt Ryan's going to be another year better. It's a perfect storm for Devonta Freeman to stay healthy and give you top 5 returns.
Yeah, and another positive sign, you know, Dirk Cutter, when he was the OC in Jacksonville, Maurice Jones-Drew led the league in rushing. He was 3rd in the league in rushing over the years of 2007 to 2011, which was when Cutter was the offensive coordinator over there. So that does show some signs, you know, in that direction for Devonta Freeman.
Okay, next guy we want to talk about is David Johnson. Now, we were originally saying that, you know, you want to later round picks, but we think David Johnson, if he goes back after the first round, I think that's a huge value, because he's got top 3 upside. And with that new offense, with the air raid, with Kyler Murray, new weapons, they're talking about running 90 plays a day, kind of throwback to Chip Kelly. Worked out really well that first year with Chip Kelly. They could do the same thing here because they got young guys. Poor Larry Fitzgerald's going to be gassed, though. That's going to be tough for him. He's going to have to rotate out quite a bit if they do that.
Yeah, I mean, I love David Johnson. And think about it. Say you got a back-end pick, and, you know, he's probably going to be one of the guys that fall a little in the draft because of last season and everything, and, you know, the woes on offensive line, a rookie quarterback, new offense, the whole 9 yards. But imagine teaming him up with a guy like, you know, say Julio Jones or like an Odell Beckham. I mean, you could have really good tandem right there, 1 and 2, you know?
I like that.
So I think, he's a guy that can finish potentially in the top 5. Like they said, he came out and said he's getting better shape to get into Kingsbury's offense, which is a little worrisome. But if they're going to be running 90 to 95 plays like they predict, you know, the guy's going to be getting touches and he's going to be getting the ball. He doesn't really have much competition.
Yeah, I think it's scary, though, because you got that offensive line is a mess. They didn't really do much to improve it. I think that's part of the reason why he wants to run so many plays so quickly is you don't want Kyler Murray to be back there for more than 2 seconds. He's either going to get rid of the ball or he's just going to jettison out of the pocket.
Yeah, and another positive I would say for David Johnson is Patrick Peterson's out for 6 games. That means the defense isn't going to be as good.
Defense
Chances
is
are
even worse.
So that means it's potentially they could be in a lot of games with a lot of points need to be scored. So I see a lot of positives in David Johnson's. I could see him sneaking into the top 5, top 3 towards the end of the season.
Or he could bust for you like he did last year.
Or he could be a complete bust. But I think that's highly unlikely. I just think the usage will be there.
Yeah.
You just got to hope he's got those touchdowns in him.
I think you kind of hope for him to fall to you at like the top of the second round. I think that's the best value, and it's a possibility. It's going to be tough, but
he'll be a first
possible.
rounder, and the receptions are going to take
true.
him over the top.
Especially in a PPR league, that helps you out a lot.
Yep.
Next guy we want to talk about is my boy Tyler Lockett. Ridge, he's got no more Doug Baldwin anymore. He was super efficient with all of his targets. He had 10 touchdowns on 57 receptions. That's, believe it or not, now with my quick math brain, that is every 5.7 receptions he got a touchdown.
So unsustainable.
That's insane.
It's
insane.
It's not sustainable.
No, that means he's going to at least, if he gets 100 receptions, that means he's going to get like almost 20 touchdowns, Ridge.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That would be crazy.
That'd be crazy. He should be getting drafted in the first round.
He's got DK Metcalf on the outside now, taking away pressure way more than Doug Baldwin ever will. They're saying DK Metcalf, he could be a possible Calvin Johnson type.
Possibly. I mean, I really like Tyler Lockett. I think he's going to be great value. I think he might go a little higher than what we're thinking right now. He's going to shoot up the board once the preseason starts.
I think he ends up being like a 4th, 5th round pick.
Yeah, I could see that. And but I think the return will be good. Last season he had 71 targets. Russell Wilson had a perfect passer rating throwing to him. Perfect. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
He's going to know in the offseason that since it was perfect, well, if I want to continue being perfect, I should keep throwing to him. Probably more than, giving him 71 targets. Really low.
Yeah.
Take it up there, Russell. Come on. Let's do something with that. Now, can you give me a quick projection what you think is a realistic output that he's going to have this season, stats-wise?
I would say probably around 70 receptions, 1,200 yards, and like 7-8 touchdowns.
That's a top 15 easily wide receiver right there. So if you're getting that in the 4th, 5th round, that's phenomenal. That's something you should take every single time.
The only thing I do see his receptions being low because I do think he's more of a big play threat than anything. So I would put him in that like Tyreek Hill type idea, like player. He'll have his big games. He might have some small games. But the touchdowns are really going to make or break him because he can have that game where he has 3 catches for like 30 yards and no touchdown. It won't help. But there is games where he can have 3 catches for 120 yards and 2 scores where he can absolutely blow up for you. So I could see him being sort of like that, but a little more on the consistent factor because of his rapport with Russell Wilson and the lack of depth at the receiver position. And the last guy we're going to be talking about today with potential values will be Sammy Watkins out of Kansas City. No Tyreek Hill.
I feel like every time we talk about the Chiefs, it's just the biggest question mark in the NFL. Where are those targets going to go? How much is Patrick Mahomes going to regress? Sammy Watkins burns me year after year after year. Chasing after that 2015 where he went off with Tyrod Taylor, that second half, he looked like the number 4 pick that he was drafted to be. This is the perfect situation for him. He's got the best quarterback he's ever had, best offense he's ever had, best opportunity he's ever had. Everything points to Sammy having a big year. But he is always hurt. Every time he gets an opportunity, he disappoints. He doesn't necessarily fall flat on his face. Like with the Rams, he had 8 touchdowns. He was serviceable, but he wasn't the high upside guy that we hoped he would be. Now in this offense, it's if he can't make it work this year, I don't know what to do, but he's being rated as a top 20 guy, which is the highest he's been rated going into a season, I think, since that 2015 season. What do you think is a realistic outcome for him? Because there's no proven wide receivers over there other than Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to get a boatload of targets. I think he could probably reach close to like 100 targets, maybe a little, like maybe 120 even, because they don't really have many weapons over there. I mean, you got Kelce, obviously he's going to be the guy. The running game is okay, you would think. You don't really know what you have there. They did sign Carlos Hyde. Damian Williams proved he was pretty solid over the offseason. He earned his money. So the running game might be a little there. And then you got a rookie wide receiver. You got Tyreek Hill, who's a question mark, but you got Sammy Watkins. Like you said, the guy's been hurt. but he has so much talent. If he could just stay healthy for one season, he's gonna have a big year if he were to stay healthy. You know, if he doesn't stay healthy, it's obviously not going to have a big year. But I think if he does stay healthy for 16 games, you could easily see over 10 touchdowns for this guy. He's a big play threat. He catches big passes. He's good in open space, you know.
I hear you. And by the way, I think the biggest thing that you have to consider with drafting him this year is the fact that I will not be at all. I'm not touching him. He's burned me 3 years in a row now. I'm done. I think the best thing for Sammy is for us to just have a clean break at this point. So to let him finally have that breakout season that he deserves can't be on my team. I gotta let him go. It's better for both of us. And just let him flourish on someone else's team. If you end up in my league, Ridge, you can gladly take him for a small dollar amount in our auction league, and I will gladly let him go.
Could potentially be a steal of the draft, man.
Probably will be. And
well, I just got one last thing. I got a question for you.
Okay.
So I was thinking about this on the way in. Rob Gronkowski. Mm-hmm. If you have him in a dynasty league, are you dropping him?
Yeah.
Yeah?
100%.
But what if he comes
Zero
back?
doubt in my mind.
I don't believe he signed the retirement paperwork yet. Mm-hmm. Would you hold on to him, or would you drop him for a guy like that's never going to play?
Well, I'd drop him for a guy that I think can help me at some point, because think about it like this.
But what if he does?
He's not coming back week 1. If anything, he's going to be coming back midway or like down the stretch. Like, why would he come back early on?
But it's a dynasty league.
No.
I personally, I think I would keep him until the season started and then drop him. Unless there was somebody out there that was like wowing.
I'd rather take like some kind of a rookie or something like that. Like it all depends on the format of your league, but I'm not.
No chance
No
he comes
interest.
back?
I'm one of the biggest Gronk fans ever. No.
You don't think he comes back?
I think it's possible. Like Jason Witten came back.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And are you holding on to Jason Witten this year?
Well, they're two different beasts. I mean, Gronk is like one of the best of all time.
So Jason Witten?
He's like 40.
I know, but Gronk's like every joint in his body is like 40 at this point too.
No, I get it. I was just,
Getting way off topic here. This is the Fantasy Underdogs. I am BJ.
I'm Dr. Ike.
That is him. Like, subscribe, comment. I had it.
Sure you're Dr. Ike? That didn't sound like confident.
You didn't sound like a confident doctor. Yeah, he definitely got his PhD from like some like South American country or whatever over the online.
I'm a doctor, bro.